but he wouldn't have been in the wrong. Who was in the wrong was Tank, and the referee allowing him to take a knee, go to his corner, get whatever was obstructing his vision, wiped away, and then he went back to work. So that has to be. I mean, if the referee scores that a 10-8 round, which really it should have been, even though I know he wasn't hurt, I get it, but technically it should have been a 10-8 round. Roach doesn't get a draw. He wins the title.
Wins the fight.
And a lot of people out there that might have had a ticket plus 900.
Teddy Atlas claims Lamont was robbed. The referee let Tank take an illegal break, giving him time to clear his vision instead of counting it as a knockdown. That should have been a 10-8 round. If scored correctly, Lamont wins the fight. Roach himself pointed out the flawed scoring that cost him the victory. He tweeted, "2 judges gave you that round, bruv. If they scored the knockdown, I win by unanimous decision. The numbers speak for themselves. The judges ignored a clear knockdown, completely altering the outcome. If they had done their job right, Roach wouldn't just have edged out a win. He would have claimed a dominant victory. This wasn't just bad luck. It was a fight taken from him by poor officiating. Roach knows it, and he's making sure everyone else does too." Still fired up, he doubled down and stated, "Word round the block, y'all fav fight finna be 30-1, not 30-0-1. 2 XX2 division champ." He's not waiting for validation. He's claiming what should have been his. The official record might say otherwise, but anyone watching saw the truth. Instead of staying silent, he's making it clear. A bad call stole his moment, but he's not backing down. Even Terrence Crawford couldn't stay quiet about it and stated, "I never seen someone take a knee, and they don't count it as a knockdown. Must have forgot the rules for tonight." He didn't stop there and tweeted, "They robbed that boy and it's crazy. Roach won, and that should have been called a knockdown." A blatant knockdown was ignored, and instead of enforcing the rules, the ref gave Tank time to recover. That single moment changed everything. Roach should have walked away with the win, but instead, he was denied what was rightfully his. Fans are outraged, and fighters aren't holding back either. Even beyond active fighters, major sports analysts weighed in on the controversy. Stephen A. Smith, one of the most influential voices in sports media, admitted he wouldn't have had a problem if Roach had been given the victory. He highlighted the knee incident, calling it a clear knockdown under boxing rules.
I would not have had a problem if Roach had been given the fight, because when Tank took that knee, that's a knockdown in boxing. If your knee touches the canvas, it's a knock. I don't give a damn what the reason was, whether it's grease in your eye or whatever it is. Nope, that's a knockdown. You can't, if your knee touches, that's a knockdown, which means it should have been a 2-point round. Since it was that close, to me, that should have been it. That should have been a knockdown. Having said that, let me stand up, Shannon, Ocho. I got to apologize on national television to that brother Lamont Roach. I didn't give him much of a chance in this fight because I thought he was the smaller guy moving up. I didn't expect him to be in the ring bigger. And from opening bell, he walked right to Tank Davis. I was stunned. And the brother can fight. I'm very impressed with Lamont Roach. He put on a great performance, and he wants his love on national television right now. We need to give it to him. This brother is special.
Smith didn't just criticize the officiating, he also acknowledged that he underestimated Roach before the fight. Expecting Tank to dominate, he was surprised to see Roach stand his ground and walk straight into battle from the opening bell. Instead of backing down, Roach forced Davis into a much tougher fight than expected. Smith emphasized that this moment wasn't just about the result. It was about giving Roach the credit he deserved for his performance. With rematch talks growing louder, his words only add more fuel to the debate. Gervonta Davis didn't stay quiet either, firing back with his own now-deleted response. He tweeted, "You're a bitch ass just happy you didn't get knocked out. Your dad was jumping up and down in the corner when y'all made it to the 12th round. Foe." He wasn't done yet and stated, "Y'all acting like I was hurt or like I couldn't see. I wasn't hurt at all, I just really couldn't see for a sec." Davis is brushing off the controversy, claiming he was never in trouble. He insists that the moment everyone calls a knockdown, it is nothing more than a brief issue with his vision. But fans and fighters aren't buying it. If he wasn't hurt, the ref had no reason to give him an unofficial break. The debate is only getting louder, with more voices calling out the decision. Instead of settling the issue, Davis's comments are only adding to the backlash. Gervonta Davis wasn't done defending himself. To back up his stance, he reposted a tweet explaining why his knee wasn't counted as a knockdown. By sharing this, Davis fired back and shut down the debate. pointing to the rulebook as proof that the referee made the right call. But instead of ending the controversy, it only made things worse. Many fans saw it as an excuse, arguing that Tank wasn't just adjusting equipment, he was given extra time to recover. The discussion kept spiraling, and fighters like Lamont Roach weren't holding back. Lamont Roach wasn't letting Gervonta's words slide. After Davis tried to downplay the controversy, Roach fired back with a heated response, making it clear he wasn't backing down. He wasn't just defending himself, he was setting the record straight. He tweeted, "I was never worried about that, and truth be told, you hit like a bitch. That nigga was jumping up and down because I was fucking you up. What you talking about?" Roach made it clear that Davis's punches didn't faze him. Instead of struggling to survive, he felt like he was the one in control. While Davis pointed at the 12th round as proof of his dominance, Roach flipped the script, saying Tank's team was celebrating because he made it that far, not because he was winning. His words only added more fuel to the already fiery debate. The fight may be over, but the war of words is just getting started. Fans are now split, some siding with Roach's claim of dominance, others defending Davis. One thing is certain, this fight won't be forgotten anytime soon. With all the controversy and back and forth, Gervonta Davis decided to take it a step further. Instead of just arguing, he put something bigger on the table, a rematch. He tweeted, "The rematch can be soon too, like end of May." He didn't stop there and stated, "And say no more, I'm pushing for the rematch." Davis is making it clear, if Roach thinks he was robbed, he'll have a chance to prove it. But this isn't just about settling a score. A rematch means bigger stakes, bigger hype, and another shot for both fighters to leave no doubts. Fans are already buzzing, wondering if this will actually happen or if it's just talk. One thing is certain, after everything that's been said, if this rematch goes down, it's going to be personal. Lamont Roach wasn't impressed by Davis's talk about a rematch. To him, there was nothing to push for because the rematch was already locked in, and he made sure to call Tank out on it. He tweeted, "Fuck you mean? Pushing nigga, my contract already signed and set for the immediate rematch cause you put that in there, just in case you lost. Only reason we don't fight is cause you scared." Roach wasn't buying into the idea that Davis was in control of making the rematch happen. He claimed Tank had already planned for this possibility before the fight even happened. In his eyes, the only thing stopping the rematch now is fear. The energy is shifting. Roach is making it sound like the pressure is all on Davis to prove he really wants it. Fans are now waiting to see if Davis responds with action instead of words. Lamont Roach made his stance clear. He's ready, the contract is signed, and if the rematch doesn't happen, it's on Davis. But Roach isn't the only one who sees this fight as a win for him. Many in the boxing world believe he proved something that night, regardless of the official result.
He fought a hell of a fight, Roach. He deserves credit. Tremendous. He went into the lion's den, and he came out. He came out, unscathed. He backed him up.
It's a win for him. He won last night. He doesn't get Tank's belt, but he won, and we can't wait for that rematch. The stock goes up. I just, we always talk about how important it is in boxing. You read so many comments.
Respected voices in boxing are giving Roach his credit. He stepped into hostile territory, fought with everything he had, and left with his reputation stronger than ever. He may not have Tank's belt, but he walked away with something just as valuable, respect. This performance didn't hurt him. It only raised his stock. Now, with the rematch looming, the question isn't whether Roach belongs at this level, it's whether Davis is ready to face him again. On the other side, Gervonta Davis firmly believed that Lamont Roach didn't truly win the fight. In his eyes, the draw wasn't because Roach did enough. It was because of the controversial knee. He stood by the idea that he was the better fighter that night, but Davis didn't stop there. In another tweet, one he later deleted, he doubled down on his stance. "They took the fight from me and made it a draw because I did that bull knee, but I landed the most punches in the fight. He didn't even hit me with a punch when I took the knee. I get it though. I shouldn't have done the..." By deleting the post, Davis might have realized he was adding even more controversy to an already heated debate, but the internet never forgets. His words only fueled more reactions, with some fans supporting his argument, while others saw it as an excuse. Meanwhile, Roach isn't letting up, standing by his belief that he did enough to win. The tension keeps building, and now, the pressure is on Davis to back up his words with action. Gervonta Davis's deleted tweet only added more controversy to the already heated debate. While he argued that the knee shouldn't have affected the outcome, many in the boxing world weren't convinced. The discussion around whether it should have been ruled a knockdown continued.
Of course, there's been controversy about the knockdown and everything like that about him going down. And I feel like, the referee was automatically doing that because his back was turned or he wasn't close to the action. He didn't see it that well that the man went down, because Lamont Roach had landed a combination on him and was punching. So that look could have been a delayed reaction, you know? But the referee started to count, as you seen, but then he changed it because Tank, like, ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And which, if I was Lamont Roach, I'd probably recontest that. I'd probably try to contest that.
Coach Burney pointed out a key issue, the referee's handling of the moment. He suggested that the official wasn't in the best position to make a clear judgment and that Roach was landing punches when Davis took the knee. If that's the case, it raises even more questions about why the call was changed. Some believe it was a delayed reaction knockdown, while others think Davis was simply given an unfair break. The controversy isn't dying down, and with more experts speaking up, the push for a rematch is only growing stronger. Coach Burney further continued breaking down the fight, emphasizing just how much the controversial call impacted the final result. He pointed out that if the knockdown had been counted, the entire outcome would have shifted in Roach's favor.
The card said it, that if he would have been given that knockdown, he'd have won the fight by 1 point. So, I mean, you know, that would have been a bad way to win the fight, but it would have been good on his part because he did put up a hell of an effort and he did land the harder punches. He hurt Tank a couple times, and he stood in he beat all the myths. You know what I'm saying? He didn't get walked down. He didn't get succumbed to the moment, and he hurt Tank. He pushed Tank back, and he stunned Tank a couple times, had him hurt a couple times, and never got hurt or in danger in himself. So all those factors, you know, would give just cause for, you know, a win for Lamont Roach.
Coach Burney highlighted the biggest takeaway. If Roach had been awarded the knockdown, he would have won by a single point. While some might argue that winning on a technicality isn't the best way to take a fight, the fact remains that Roach did enough to make it competitive. He landed the harder punches, hurt Davis multiple times, and proved he wasn't just surviving, he was controlling key moments. Roach defied expectations, standing toe-to-toe with one of boxing's biggest names and never backing down. With this in mind, the rematch isn't just about settling the controversy, it's about giving Roach the fair shot many believe he was denied. The discussion around the fight wasn't just about the scorecards, it was about the way Roach handled himself in the ring. He didn't just fight well, he disrupted the game plan of a fighter known for overwhelming his opponents. Many saw a shift in momentum that night, proving Roach wasn't just there to survive, he was there to take over.
You become the intimidated. He becomes the intimidator. I think a little bit of that happened, a little bit. The bottom line is he fought a hell of a fight, Roach. He deserves credit. Tremendous. He went into the lion's den, and he came out. He came out.
Teddy Atlas pointed out an important shift in the fight. Davis, known for being the aggressor, found himself on the back foot. Roach wasn't intimidated, and as a result, the pressure started to swing the other way. He didn't just survive, he took the fight to Tank and stood his ground. This wasn't just about landing punches, it was about proving that Davis's usual dominance didn't work this time. The narrative had changed, and with a rematch on the horizon, Roach has already shown he's not backing down. Jaron Ennis weighed in on the fight, offering a more balanced perspective. While some were calling it a robbery, Ennis saw it differently. He acknowledged Roach's performance, but also pointed out that Davis controlled the early rounds with his movement and boxing skills. In his view, those rounds played a big role in how the fight should be judged.
It was a great fight, you know. I had it 7-5 Tank, or you can make it a draw, but I feel like Lamont, he did good. He did a great job, actually. You know, I just don't think he did enough to pull it off. You know, and I feel like people was overlooking what Tank was doing in the first like 5-6 rounds. You know, he was like boxing and frustrating him a little bit. You know, but Lamont, like I said before, Lamont did a great job, you know.
Jaron Ennis believed Roach did a great job, but didn't do enough to secure the win. He pointed out that Davis was boxing well and frustrating Roach early, which many seem to overlook. His take shifted the focus to the entire fight rather than just the later rounds. While Roach finished strong, Tank's early success couldn't be ignored. With such a close fight, the rematch would be the perfect chance to settle the debate once and for all. Jaron Ennis further continued sharing his perspective, doubling down on his belief that Davis's performance was being overlooked. He felt that some criticism toward Tank was unfair. In his eyes, just because Davis didn't dominate or score a knockout didn't mean he lost.
I think so, yeah, and I feel like people just don't like Tank to a point where any little thing, just because he ain't knock him out, he probably feel as though that he lost, and he didn't, or it was a draw. You know, I feel like Tank was doing a lot of smart things in the beginning, moving a little bit too much, but I feel like he was still like frustrating him and things like that. And I think Tank did a good job. Like, he looked sharp than me. And I don't know, people just be talking. You know, at the end of the day, you can't please everybody.
Ennis pointed out that Davis was doing a lot of smart things early in the fight, even if they weren't as flashy. He believed Tank's movement and strategy played a bigger role than people were giving him credit for. While Roach had his moments, Ennis didn't think it was enough to say Davis was beaten. His take reflected a larger divide. Some felt Roach did more than expected, while others saw it as Davis still being in control. With opinions still split, only a rematch can truly settle the argument.
Yeah, I was definitely surprised. Like I said, Lamont did a great job, you know. But when you fight a champ, you gotta really take it to him and really like take it from him. And I feel as though that Lamont did a great job at that, and he was like trying to like catch and counter him and things like that. But
Ennis recognized that Roach put on a strong performance and had success with his counterpunching. However, he believed that when facing a champion like Davis, a challenger needs to dominate and clearly take the fight. Roach had his moments, but in Ennis's view, it wasn't enough to completely take control. His take added another perspective to the debate. Roach exceeded expectations, but didn't fully establish his dominance. The rematch, if it happens, will be Roach's opportunity to make his case undeniable. Jaron Ennis's breakdown of the fight added to the ongoing debate about whether Roach did enough to take the belt. While opinions remained divided, Greg Hackett praised Roach for his fearless performance and the way he approached the fight. To Hackett, Roach didn't just show up. He brought the kind of energy that boxing needs more of.
This is Roach. I mean, great fight. This is what boxing is missing. We're missing competitive fights. We missing fights where guys not scared of the other guy. You know what I mean? They're not worried about the highlight reels and things like that, and they bringing they all to the fight. That's what that fight reminded me of. It reminded me of a classic. That was a good rumble. Real good rumble.
Greg Hackett focused on what made this fight special. He saw it as a reminder of what boxing has been missing. Two fighters stepping into the ring without fear, bringing everything they had. Instead of playing it safe or protecting records, both Roach and Davis made it a battle. The fight wasn't just about who won or lost. It was about the heart, the grit, and the willingness to go to war. That's what made it a classic, and that's why fans are already calling for a rematch. Greg Hackett further shared his thoughts on the fight, this time focusing on the result itself. While many were calling it a robbery, he saw it differently. In his view, Roach got a fair shake, something that doesn't always happen when fighters go up against big names. He acknowledged Roach's performance, but also pointed out why he believed the fight ended the way it did.
Yeah, I was happy about the result because they didn't rob Lamont Roach. What I mean by rob Lamont Roach is they could have easily just gave him a loss, like they do a lot of guys in boxing. They do that to a lot of guys in boxing when you fighting a major guy. The reason I don't think it was a winner was because Lamont did great with Tank, but he was kind of fighting at Tank's pace. What I mean is, whatever Tank was giving him, he was giving back. So that's what made it a great fight. But it was never like he just took over the fight and beat Tank ass.
Hackett felt that Roach avoided the kind of unfair decision that often happens in boxing when facing a major star. Instead of being handed a loss, he was given credit for his effort. However, Hackett also believed that Roach fought at Tank's pace rather than fully taking over. He saw it as a competitive fight where both men pushed each other, but not one where Roach completely controlled the action. His take added another layer to the debate. Roach did enough to make it close, but he didn't dominate to the point where the result was undeniable. With the rematch talk growing stronger, he may get the chance to prove that next time. Roach's performance didn't just spark debate about the decision, it changed the way people saw him. He stepped into the ring as an underdog, but by the end of the fight, he had everyone talking. Even those deeply involved in the sport took notice.
I mean, I think that happened for a reason. It happened for a reason for the boxing fans to see what the fuck is going on and all of this situation about people being unknown. Because I honestly know boxing very well. I had never heard of Lamont Roach at all before they announced his fight last year. I had never heard of. He's a world champion. I had never seen him. Maybe I seen him and didn't know. Maybe his name didn't stick out, but I didn't know who the fuck Lamont Roach is. But like they've been saying today, I damn sure know him now. And he did an amazing job, man. He did an amazing job, tremendous job.
Brian Norman admitted that before this fight, he had never even heard of Lamont Roach. But after watching him go toe-to-toe with Davis, that changed completely. Roach's performance wasn't just about winning or losing. It was about proving he belongs at the highest level. He went from being an overlooked name to someone who demanded respect. Whether people thought he won or not, he made sure everyone watching knew exactly who he was. Now, with a rematch looming, Roach has the chance to turn that newfound recognition into something even bigger. Brian Norman further continued, this time making his stance on the fight clear. While he had initially focused on how Roach made a name for himself, he now addressed what he saw as an unfair outcome. For him, it wasn't just a close fight, it was a fight that Roach should have won.
You know, you saw the fight happen, you saw, we ain't gonna go into that right now, but, no matter what, you saw the performance, you saw what happened, you saw the end result of it. And yeah, he definitely got robbed. I hated for him getting robbed. I'm glad he made the money. I think he deserved the money. I think he deserved the opportunity. The world saw him. Nobody's saying, I seen like 2 people saying Tank won. I ain't seen nobody saying he won. You got the people who don't know shit about boxing, when Tank leaned on his back and he took that knee to get Tank off his back.
Norman didn't hold back, calling it a robbery and expressing frustration over how the fight played out. He believed Roach deserved both the money and the opportunity, but more importantly, he deserved the win. From his perspective, the majority of people saw Roach as the real winner, with only a few backing Davis. Regardless of opinions, the discussion isn't fading, and the push for a rematch is only getting stronger. The fight between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach wasn't just another title bout. It became a statement, a controversy, and a moment that shook up the boxing world. From questionable officiating to heated post-fight exchanges, every aspect of this fight has fueled intense debate. Roach walked in as the underdog, but left with respect, while Davis now faces pressure to prove his dominance once again. With talks of a rematch gaining momentum, one thing is certain, this rivalry is far from over. What do you think? Was the fight judged fairly, or did Roach get robbed? Should the referee have counted the knee as a knockdown? Did Davis truly do enough to keep his title, or did Roach expose weaknesses in his game? And if a rematch happens, who takes it this time? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and tune in for more videos like this.